Hi guys, welcome back to GFFA Games in the Old Republic. We are on Quesh, which last episode we found out was pronounced Quesh. I think I've been pronouncing it Kesh before that point. So where did we get up to? It is only a few minutes since I stopped recording the last episode, and I decided to just get another one in because I actually got a bit of time, which is unusual. We're doing the planetary quests at the minute, and we're going to reclaim Quesh. So, you returned to the Three Families War Camp to find chaos. We did. There were Sith attacking the place. Major Trigue has defected to the Empire, and Broga the Hutt has been captured. I'm not so sure about that personally. A Sith, Lord Magras, who looked pretty cool, I have to admit, has seized the Grantia Lakend Venom Mine and taken Broga there. Enter the Grantia Lakend Venom Mine and stop Lord Magras's plans. So that's what we're going to do this episode, hopefully. So let's look at our map and see whereabouts we need to go. We're going down this way. Okay. Let's hop on our little speederoo and get going. Oh, a little bit of lag. I'm recording this on a Sunday. I don't normally experience much lag on a Sunday. I think there are 10 players on my little planet, so I wouldn't expect to get a great deal of lag. But that's it. Last episode I had a little bit of a talk about midichlorians and the Force, and I'm going the wrong way. You know, that kind of thing. I don't know if it was very interesting. I just kind of wanted to get things straight in my head with some information that I wasn't aware of previously. I think I kind of ended that episode a little bit ambiguously, talking about female characters, and I do kind of want to make sure that my thoughts on that are clear, and in a way actually get my own head around it in general, because it is a bit of a complex topic. I don't want people to think I'm some sort of misogynist and that I don't want female characters, because that's just nonsense. Of course I want female characters, you know? I've got absolutely no problem with Rey as a character in general, and I don't have a problem with Finn as a character in general, if people seem to think I've got a problem with non-white characters. That's just absolute nonsense. My issue is that Rey doesn't... again, this is going to be really a tired argument that you're going to hear 1,000 times before, but she doesn't have any development as a character. She starts out in The Force Awakens as a scavenger. She's really good at fighting. We clearly get the impression that she's got some sort of skill that goes beyond merely being a survivor, you know, on what's the planet called? Jakku, isn't it? You know? She's clearly special, right? And by the end of the movie, we get that confirmed, because she's resisting Kylo Ren, who's been trained by Luke Skywalker, you know? And as it turns out, Palpatine. You know, she's resisting his mind probe, and all this is... I am thinking, the way I've just said that, resists his mind probe, we get the line in A New Hope, don't we, that Princess Leia's resisted the mind probe, but I'd never got the impression that it was... what the hell is this? Oh, I require scavenging. Bit ironic. I never got the impression that it was Darth Vader doing what Kylo Ren was doing in The Force Awakens. I always assumed it was some kind of drug that we see with the droid, you know? She resisted it. and I think that's expanded on a little bit in Andor. I think what we see Bix going through is similar to what they subjected Princess Leia to. That was my interpretation. So I don't think I'm contradicting myself when I say this. To me, Rey is born, and when I say born, I mean introduced to us as a powerful user of the Force. Whereas Luke Skywalker, I get the impression if he was faced with Darth Vader with a lightsaber in A New Hope, the same way that Rey was faced with Kylo Ren, that Luke Skywalker would be dead, right? He'd be dead. I don't think there's any question about that. Whereas we know that Luke Skywalker is a gifted pilot, and it's explained in the movie that, well, he's been piloting his T-16. I know there's deleted scenes that we can't really say are canon because they're deleted, but it's explained that these kids, they're hotshot pilots. They spend all of their free time piloting their T-16s down Beggar's Canyon. And although it's not necessarily... well, it is now in the movie, isn't it? Because in the special edition we get the scene of Biggs explaining to... is it Gold Leader? That actually this Luke Skywalker's the best bush pilot in the galaxy, or whatever he says. So we do know that Luke Skywalker's already a great pilot, so him doing really well at the Battle of Yavin isn't necessarily a Mary Sue kind of scenario. It's just part of the story. And you could argue the same with Rey if her innate ability was part of the story, but it isn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just isn't. Especially when you watch like The Last Jedi. It strongly implies that she's nobody. She's come from nothing. And then in The Rise of Skywalker, we find out that she's a clone of Palpatine, who at no point are we led to believe had no training, that they were naturally gifted. I don't know. I find it very difficult to kind of make sense of the sequel trilogy and what they were actually trying to say. I would have much preferred to have had Rey go through some sort of trial, like a genuine trial, and we see her learn to become a Force user. There's no problem with us seeing her powerful to begin with. She survives on Jakku by herself. There's clearly something special about her. But actually, to have that explained, it needed more, in my opinion. Just the idea that she's a clone of Palpatine was a bit of a lazy... Well, she's not a clone, is she? She's the daughter of a clone. So... I don't know. She should have been a Skywalker. The main character of the sequel trilogy should have been a Skywalker. That's just my opinion. It's kind of like they were trying out different ideas and which one resonated the most, and they went with daughter of clone of Palpatine. I don't know. Not a bad idea in and of itself. They could have made a story about that, but I'm not quite sure why they bothered to make it this kind of mystery box idea. Just have that the intention from the beginning. I think the problem they had with the sequel trilogy, they set up this mystery that no matter what they did, it'd never be a satisfying conclusion to the mystery, no matter what they announced by the end. If she was a relative of Kenobi, I think everybody would have just said, well, what? Kenobi was never a special Jedi. It was just circumstance that found him training Anakin. So that wouldn't have made sense. Connecting to Palpatine, I think, was outside of actually making her a descendant of the Skywalker line in some way, was probably all they had left at that point. I think it's the second best option. There wasn't really a way that they could have connected her with Luke Skywalker without completely rewriting The Force Awakens. It's been suggested to me that they could have had Luke Skywalker abandon her on Jakku, for her protection, but come on. It just doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? Why would they give her such a horrible upbringing? Nonsense to me. Anyway, the entire sequel trilogy just needed a rewrite. It was just wasn't planned from the beginning and was nonsense. Other female characters we've had, Jyn from Rogue One, no issues there. I think she was perfectly fine. She was I put her in the same category as like Sarah Connor and Ripley. They're just characters that happen to be female, very good characters. Maybe she wasn't the best fleshed out, but I think the novels did a great service in fleshing out Jyn. If you read Catalyst and is it Rebel Rising it's called? Catalyst in particular is a really fantastic novel, but Jyn is just a baby in it. Whereas Rebel Rising, it's not as good, I don't think, but it fleshes Jyn out, which is what's needed. But yeah, she's never some absolute, what they call girl boss, whatever they call them. In my opinion, she was just a perfectly fine female character. Well, let's see how tough these guys are. Not that tough, thankfully. Ahsoka, I haven't seen her series, so I can't really comment on her. I wasn't a fan of Ahsoka in Clone Wars. I think that Filoni is too connected to that character. It's just I'm just not interested in their story. I feel like her story is a bit of a retcon. She's had plenty of times to die, and she just has failed to do so. Who's this guy? Sith Siege Master. Well, let's jump in and try and kill him. And I will say as well that if Ahsoka was a male character, it would make no difference to my feelings towards her. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Oh, that was good T7, wasn't it? Right, so we've got 4 of these to destroy. That's not too bad. Bo-Katan, that's another female character that we've had that I'm not keen on the way that they've been explored in The Mandalorian Season 3. I think that is a character that has just suddenly had this, like, suddenly given abilities that are just completely out of well, they just don't make sense, you know? A little bit like Fennec Shand as well. I think one of my pet peeves with some female characters and the way that they're written is that they're made to be... The way that they explain their abilities is by denigrating a male character. So they'll have them in comparison to them. And with Bo-Katan, it was with Din Djarin. You know, Din Djarin can't use the Darksaber, Bo-Katan can. That sort of thing. You know. And it's a similar thing with Fennec Shand. Boba Fett was completely ineffectual. Fennec Shand, yeah, she can do what Boba Fett can't. Where am I going? I've missed something. I'm glad I looked at that map. What's up there then? That was another one of those things. Let's just go and do that first. I think it comes down a little bit to replacement. We'll call it replacement theory, where you have a character and you denigrate them and replace them. And you replace them with a... Do I want to say diverse character? You know what I mean? So it's almost always a male character. Almost always a white male character. And I know there'll be people saying, well, Boba Fett and Din Djarin are white. But they're white enough. What's up here? No, nothing. Luke Skywalker, certainly white male character. And again, I'm hesitant to talk about this kind of thing because I know people get offended, and that's fine. You know, I'm not saying anything against anybody personally. It is purely just how I feel about this thing. Yeah, we'll take some neutralizers.
I'm sure I'll find a use for these.
Right, so these poisoned workers that we've just been ignoring, we actually need to be healing them. That's fair enough. I suspect I can... there we go. Select them and click. Oh, not even a thank you. It's nice. Yeah, I think my fear about talking about some of this stuff is symptomatic of the culture that we find ourselves in, and I think it's important for us to actually talk about this stuff, not in an offensive way, you know, not to say, oh, you know, you're wrong or anything like that, just to say, you know, this is my opinion, and I'm not trying to upset anybody with it. It's just how I feel. And hopefully we can have a conversation about it. And I think that is the healthy way to deal with this stuff. 4 of 8. Okay, so there's more of them, is there? Fair enough. So yeah, to sum up, I am all in favour of female characters, of non-white characters, any character. You know, I don't care, as long as they're a good character, well written and interesting. And unfortunately, I don't think writers are very good at writing interesting female characters at the minute. There's too much nonsense, too much baggage that comes with it. What's our new objective? Retrieve the siege droid memory core. Okay. Right, so we've collected all of these. So, right. Oh, there's a poisoned worker over here. So I'd be interested to hear from people that think we shouldn't talk about this stuff. No, it's just something, not a conversation that we should be having. I do think that I haven't seen it yet, but the South Park episode Into the Pandaverse, was it called? I think that's opened the door to a lot of criticism. You know, people feel more capable of talking about things that perhaps were kind of a taboo subject before, or would get you relegated to like the fringe element of media commentary. Whereas now I think people are more comfortable to say, look, I've noticed this trend. I don't think it makes for very good media. And hopefully we can have a conversation about it. I want to see, and I'll be clear about this, I want to see good characters. And I don't want those good characters to just be white men. You know, I want to have strong female characters, black, Asian, Latina, whatever. I don't care. Why would I? It makes no difference to me. It just seems to be whenever they insert a character like that into a story, they just make them insufferable or boring. I don't know. What happened? So I've got one more poisoned worker to rescue. Not quite sure where they are. Maybe the issue is that the people writing these stories are men, and they don't know how to write interesting female characters without, I'm going to use that word, pandering. You know, it's like, oh, I can't have, oh, there's a poisoned worker, look. You know, I'm writing a story, I'm going to make the main character female, of course I am, because that's what people want at the minute. And I'm going to write them extremely strong. You know, they don't need any training, they don't need a man to tell them what to do and all this. Fair enough, but somewhere along the way you've got to have some kind of development. Your character can't just be strong from the start and then end strong. And their entire story is just people trying to hold them back from being as strong as they are. Perfect, we've rescued all those guys. That just isn't interesting. Is it? Am I wrong? I don't know. So maybe it's the writers that just need to change. And I think I talked in an earlier video that perhaps it's a difference in generation. You know, I'm of a certain generation. And maybe my expectations from a story is different to what people of younger generations is. And I've got different experiences to the writers that are writing media now. So they can't, what they think is a great story is different to what I think's a great story. Sorry, buddy, I've used it all up. Okay, so do I use this to locate Broga the Hutt? Oh no, this is a siege computer, so we can finish the bonus. Oh, hello. Let's take this guy out. I am interested in other people's thoughts on this. Am I completely out of touch with reality? Is Rey actually a fantastic character and I'm just, I don't know, some sort of misogynist and not realising it? I don't think that's the case. Like I say, what would be the difference? How come I love Ripley, I love Sarah Connor, I love Jin, but I don't feel any real connection with Rey? What's the difference there? Right, we've done the bonus. I've got to upload the memory core. How do we do that? Okay, it's back there, is it? Oh, well, sort that in a minute then. Let's carry on with this. I do have to say, I think they're much better at writing black characters or Asian characters and racial differences than they are writing female characters. There's some really interesting characters that are non-white, whereas female characters, I don't know. I think they really do struggle with that nowadays. I'll tell you an interesting theory that I saw somebody say, and I can't remember the source, so I do apologise about this. But they said that young girls, it is, when they're playing with toys, they will. Am I going the right way?
You have a reprieve for the moment, Hut. We have visitors. Major, come and greet our guests.
Let your prisoners go. We can settle this ourselves.
You still choose to believe that Major Treeg is my prisoner. How positively naive.
The Republic is sick. Indecisive half-wits like Corvin make general while men of action get passed by. Despite all my talent and years of service, I'd have died a major in the Republic. The Empire will give me a fleet.
There's no justification for something like this.
Spare us your platitudes.
What? Ah!
I've injected you with raw Quesh venom. Kill the Jedi, and I'll give you the antidote. Let's finish this.
I've got to kill him. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was saying that young girls, apparently they don't imagine themselves as when they're playing with like the dolls and things. They don't imagine themselves as Batman, for example, whereas a boy would. They would take Batman and do with him what they would do with their dolls. It'd be Batman going to tea, Batman going shopping, things like that. And I don't know if that's true. That is just something that I heard. So please don't get angry at me. But it would explain the difficulty in writing female characters, or the reception to female characters. Anyway, let's speak to Major Treeg.
Not much time left. I shouldn't have trusted them. Please, forgive me.
You'll face a court-martial, you know.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. Jiliska tananga ime chaijo ronchika. Mi bonawa tuipe te bokbagwa wadawanga.
Helping others is both a duty and an honor.
Kutsinanchi he jatongi ma techu. Thank you again for everything.
Oh, that was cool. I really enjoyed that mission. I think... I don't think there's anything else in here, is there? Doesn't look like it. We've still got to upload this memory core, so I think we do need to head back. Unless we're uploading it back at the base. It doesn't make it very clear on the map. Well, actually it does. We're exiting here anyway, so let's fast travel back to the war camp, is it? Oh no, it's all the way back here. So whereabouts do we do Siege Breaker then? There's the Emperor's Wrath. There's Reclaiming Quesh. Okay, I think we are going to have to come back this way. So I'm not quite sure where we end. Can't mount. Siege Breaker. Certainly outside of the main area. But yeah, I don't think I've got really anything more to say about characterization and writing characters. I'm not a writer myself, so... And I probably suck at writing a female character if I tried. I do think one interesting exercise, and I think they did this with Ripley in the first Alien movie, is just to write a story, write characters, and unless there's some quality about them that makes them makes their sex male or female, for example, the character's pregnant or something like that, then why not just write characters and then, after the fact, assign a sex to them or a gender? Yeah? And I'm sure that's what they did with Alien. The characters, I think they only ever referred to by their surnames, aren't they, in the dialogue? And it was only when they came to casting that they said, okay, Sigourney Weaver, perfect as Ripley. It might make for some interesting dynamics and stuff that they hadn't thought of before. Okay, so now that's appearing there. So we can just fast travel all the way back there then. Let's do that. I'm assuming that's not the end of the planetary quest, because we don't seem to have been doing that for very long. Oh. Not quite sure what happened there. So where do we hand in this quest? Where was it? I remember. Oh, it's over there. Okay. Is it over here? Is it this thing? Yes, intelligence terminal. Oh, perfect. So what level are we now? 61. It's nice. And we come in here to Reclaiming Quesh. Okay, let's go. General Corvin, what you got for me?
I received word from Broga. You kept our operation safe and eliminated the Empire's masterminds. I've sent a squad to take Major Trieg into custody. He will answer for what he's done. The Republic Army owes you a debt of gratitude.
been an honor to serve with you, General.
I assure you, the honor has been all mine. It will take time to find and stamp out the remaining Imperial forces. As long as we remain here, you will be honored and welcomed.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is the planetary quests done. That's interesting. I don't feel like we did a great deal there. Maybe this is just a smaller planet. We don't have as much to do. Is this going to be the... I think that's going to be the bonus series, isn't it, on the planet? Well, let's not do that. Let's do the main story quest now, our class quests. So, the Emperor's Wrath finds Sajar, which is Master Tol Braga's Padawan. Sajar is in trouble on Quesh. A converted Sith Council member, he is stationed at a research base and has cut off all communications. Master August Din's ghost also told you that Sajar is important to your destiny. You've arrived on Quesh. Go to the Adrenal Research Base to find out what's happened to Sajar. So that's what we're going to do next episode. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you then, hopefully.